Now, Princess Anne remains in hospital for a fifth day after she sustained a concussion from being kicked by a horse on her estate.
Well, it means she'll miss the state visit completely from the Japanese Emperor. She hasn't been involved so far.
And her husband's Timothy Lawrence was saying yesterday it's going to take her a long time to recover.
Anyway, look, today we get the Crown Estate figures, and they will show just how rich the King actually is.
Yes. Well, joining us now to unpack all of this is former royal editor of The Sun, Duncan Larcombe. Good to see you this morning, Duncan. Should we begin with the Princess Royal? Because it really is such worrying news, isn't it, that she remains in hospital and her husband's saying she's recovering slowly.
Yes, that's right. I mean, it certainly suggests that perhaps whatever she's had happened to her is worse than concussion, because I don't think you'd be kept in that long in hospital for a simple concussion. So yeah, it's sort of more bad health news for a family that, as we know, as this year has had a bit of a horrific start.
Yeah, I mean, it's heck of all things to happen. We know she's absolutely horse mad. And you do wonder what's happened, because I mean, this is a horsewoman who knows her animals. I mean, can't imagine how she's been caught out like this.
No, that's right. I mean, my daughter's a very, very keen equestrian herself, and she knows, you know, when you know horses that well, you know where you can stand, you know which horses are which and their different temperaments and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's certainly a bit of a surprise that she would suffer from being kicked by a horse, if indeed that's what happened. So yeah, I mean, Princess Anne is the hardest working royal almost every single year. So for her to be taken away from royal duties, even if it's just temporary, is more strain on the rest of the royals, with Catherine out of action and King Charles reducing what he's doing because of his cancer treatment.
And she is such a private person as well, isn't she? She's very much like her late mother in the sense that she just likes to get on with it. She would hate all of this fuss surrounding her, wouldn't she?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think she would. I mean, Princess Anne is just a kind of never complain, never explain type, just like her mother's mould, very hardworking. And a lot of the work she does goes unreported. She just sort of gets on and grinds it out.
All right, let's talk money, Duncan, should we? What are we expecting from the Crown Estate, sort of, I don't know, what do you call it?
The figures.
Balance sheet.
Yeah, it's the annual day when the palace sort of release how much money they've taken in revenue, and also how much it's cost the British taxpayer to have the royals. But one thing we won't find out is how much it costs to protect them. That's always kept a complete secret, and it's thought to be an absolutely monumentally large sum of money in policing costs and other security costs. So we'll have an insight into how King Charles's finances have shored up in what will be his first financial year as king. You know, I think it will be, as ever, a chance to see what sort of value for money you get from the royal family. Normally they come out with a kind of headline figure, like it's the equivalent of a pint of milk for every member of the British public, something like that. So, you know, it always makes for an interesting read.
Yeah, I tell you, it's odd though, isn't it, how all these things work in terms of their own apparent wealth, not what it costs us in that sense, but their own apparent wealth. When he became king, didn't he sort of pass the buck, as it were, to Prince William? Didn't Prince William become substantially better off?
Well, that's right. As the heir to the throne, Prince Charles, as he was had the Duchy of Cornwall for his private income. That netted him around about £20 million a year, and it's an estate handed to William when he became king. And it's actually made William an instant billionaire overnight, one of the country's biggest landowners, with a portfolio of land and property worth believed to be £1.3 billion. But that goes to fund the heir. The Crown Estates, again, huge landowner, huge property owner around the country, and that's where they derive their wealth from.
Duncan, we haven't got long with you, but I just want to ask you about the King and Queen welcoming the Emperor and the Empress of Japan this week. It has been a wonderful state visit, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a real success given the strains that are on the family. Obviously, we saw Prince William joining the rest of the royals, but we didn't see his wife Catherine. She was still at home recovering from cancer treatment. So I think it shows the royal family at their best, really, this kind of soft diplomacy at a time, you know, post-Brexit, where trade links with Japan are hugely important. And it seems to have gone off incredibly well, with the usual pomp and ceremony and the Mall decked out in Japanese flags. A real royal welcome, if you like.
Quite right, too. Duncan, really good to see you this morning. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you, Duncan. And a starring role as well for the Prince of Wales, who we saw in Claridge's picking up the Emperor and the Empress.
Yes,
and it was great, wasn't it? We're not going to stop talking about it because it was so fun.
No, we'll play the video again for you a little bit later on.